Welcome back to day 6 of 40 days of gratitude. Before I tell you what I am grateful for today, I want to invite you to subscribe to this YouTube channel so that you can get a notification whenever I post a new video, so you can join me in this journey of freedom and purpose, so you can be rewired for joy. So today, I am giving thanks and gratitude for my grandpa. It's my grandpa on my dad's side. So these last 4 days, I was thanking my grandparents. I didn't want to say, oh, thank you for my grandparents and clump them all in one. I wanted to thank them individually because each and every one of them had something unique that they passed on to me. And today I want to share a little bit about who my grandfather was. So, God rest his soul in peace. My grandfather, Duncan Kabira, was, if I ever lived a life, I would want to live a life like he did. So, my grandpa died at 100 years old in the year 2013. He was born in 1913 and passed away in 2013 at 100 years old. And the previous year, we had just celebrated their wedding anniversary. I think it was their 68th, I think almost 70 years. They've been together 70 years and married 68 years. And so we were celebrating their anniversary. And the reason why I have a smile on my face is because he is the one person in my life that showed me this gift. He had a gift of generosity. So if I was going to thank him, it was because he instilled that characteristic of generosity. And I remember whenever we used to go to visit them during the holidays, one of the things we knew for sure we were going to get is sugar cane. And before we left, he was going to give us uh, some money to go buy a pencil for school, because he was all about education, all about working hard. So he would give us money to buy pencil. But of course, on our way home, we would pass by the store. We would not buy a pencil. We would definitely buy candy. And um, so he was an extremely generous man. So you can imagine, at 100 years old when he died, he had never lost a spouse or a child. Can you imagine living to 100 years old and never known the pain of losing a spouse or a child? That is a full life lived. He was such an awesome believer in Jesus. He was such a strong believer in Jesus, and his faith was so grounded in him, and he was such a joyful person. He told so many stories, and all of his stories always including talking about his work. He was extremely proud about working, and his contribution that he made to to the workforce, or and to his family, how he raised his family, that he was extremely proud of that. And he also talked about just interesting stories about predictions of what would happen in the future. I remember even before videos came out, he was talking about how he imagines that there was going to be a gadget where you're going to see someone and you're going to talk face to face with someone even though they're far away. I mean, that was back in 2006, before we could even do video chatting. So stuff like that. And I remember feeling, no, I'll never really measure up to my grandfather. And there was something that on the inside of me that felt, man, it's like I feel so inadequate compared to him. But I know I can't compare myself to him, because he was so much older and so far ahead of me. It's like trying to compare someone's healing journey. You can't really compare your healing journey. You're in so many different places, and I think I felt such a sense of inadequacy. But but I thought to myself, man, I'm such a selfish person. I'm not even generous at all. But I was reminded that he did pass on something to me, because and I did copy what he does. I did copy what he does, because whenever I finish my piano lessons, every time I'm done with my piano lessons, I always have like a stash of goodies and treats. And every after every lesson, I always bring out that little box, and I offer my kids a little treat. Every little child, every time after a lesson, they always get a treat. And I remember where I was like wondering, where did I get this idea that little kids should get a treat after every lesson? And I was like, he's the one who instilled that on the inside of me, is is giving little kids their a treat, or something to show that I appreciate it. I appreciate them. It's customer service. It makes people feel really wanted and appreciated. And I do miss my grandfather. I remember at his funeral, everybody was just bawling and crying. We really did miss my grandfather. He taught me Amazing Grace in Kikuyu, and it's still one of my favorite Kikuyu hymns, singing in Kikuyu. And yeah, and so there you go. Today was just really thanking God for my grandfather, who was an amazing man. And he was so loving, so caring. And and I'm thankful that I got to be blessed with a grandfather like him, one who was faithful to one wife for his whole entire life. He was committed to one woman. And when I hear all the stories about people who came from families that had, you know, two wives and stuff like that, they have a whole different experience. And so I'm just grateful that I came from that type of legacy. And yeah, so anyway, so that was it for today. And I just want to leave you with these affirmations that I always leave you with at the end of every video, so that you can have you can be anchored in these truths and have this foundation in your heart as well, to know that you belong, you are loved, you're valuable, you're worthy of forgiveness, and you have a purpose, and you are a child of God. You are enough. No need to perform. You are loved just the way you are. So I pray that you'll have a good one, and we'll see you on the next one.